Pokemon Sword and Shield's Isle of Armor was a fantastic yet very short time. However, there's a lot left in the game's code that shows us some information toward DLC 2, the Crown Tundra, and we're going to take a look at that today. There it is. Firstly, I want to give you some insight as to how the game updating works. When you updated from version 1 to version, I think it was 1.1, it fixed some things here and there, right? But when you updated to version 1.2, that included all of the Isle of Armor DLC content. And then the actual DLC was just the armor pass. It's literally just a flag in the game that allows you to go to the train station and go to the Isle of Armor. That's all that it is. It's an extremely small update, right? Inside of the version 1.2 update, there's actually a significant amount of information that shows us a lot of insight toward the Crown Tundra. We're gonna take a look at that today. This isn't really spoilery, because it's just little pieces here and there. The biggest thing whatsoever is the amount of Pokemon that are returning, who's returning, and some theories as to the legendaries and new Pokemon being added. But we know nothing about the new Pokemon being added other than what's been officially revealed by Pokemon. So if you don't consider any of that a spoiler, keep watching. This is the fourth time I'm recording this because I'm having problems with my USB 3.0 devices disconnecting from my computer, which includes my microphone and my camera. Two very important things to make these videos. Great. So this right here is really interesting. This is from ABC Boy from Bulbapedia. So Game Freak has basically confirmed the Pokemon they plan to add in the Crown Tundra with the Dex entries they left out, being Mewtwo, Mew, Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion, which are already available, but not with Dex entries. Here we have 119 Pokemon that we believe are going to be returning in DLC 2. If you're wondering where this is coming from, Alice, the Pokemon professor, reached out to me and helped explain it to me, and I can explain it to you. The game stores the entries for the Pokedex for the entire National Dex, right? And in the base game, version 1.0, there were entries for only the Galarian Pokemon, and everything else was left blank. So when you look at Weedle, it's just blank. You know, that Pokedex entry. But in version 1.2, there's now a lot of entries which appear to have been edited and then deleted, so now they appear different from blank. Think of if you have a piece of paper and then you write something down, then you put whiteout on top of it. Obviously, you wrote something underneath there as opposed to the blank pieces of paper. All of these Pokemon just about coincide with stuff that we've seen in the trailer, and then we're able to filter out what's left by those whiteout spaces for this Pokedex entry right here, which include the Nidorans, Golbat line, Jinx's line, Electabuzz's line, Magmar's line, a whole bunch of fossils from Kanto, the Kanto birds, Dragonite, the roaming beasts, the Gen 2 legendaries, the Gen 3 starters, Aggron, Swablu, the Gen 3 fossils, Absol, Spheal, Relicanth, Salamence, Metagross, the Gen 3 Regis, Latios and Latias, the Gen 3 Legendaries, Spiritomb, the Lake Trio, the Gen 4 Legendaries, the Gen 4 Mythicals, Audino, the Gen 5 Fossils, the Flying Weather Trio, Genesect, the Gen 6 Fossils, the Gen 6 Legendaries, Carbink as well, the Gen 6 Mythicals, the Gen 7 Tapus, the Gen 7 Ultra Beasts. And all of that is in there. Well, the crazy part is all the Ultra Beasts may be returning. All of them. Including Poipole and Stakataka and Clownhead. Does that mean that Beast Balls are going to be, you're going to be able to buy Beast Balls again? Is that the reason that Beast Balls were not part of the Cram-O-Matic? I think so. I think they may have been. Which then brings us to this. The Crown Tundra leak we've been waiting for confirmed at least 898 Pokemon in the National Dex. 894 and 895 are unconfirmed, but almost certainly the new Regis. And then we have different entries, which is Hakuba, Kokuba, and Koruan, which is Calyrex. Okay, my computer problems are getting really bad. This is now my 7th attempt. Kuraun, which is Calyrex. And it appears that 896 and 897 can combine with Calyrex in some way for Hakuraun, and Kokuraun. I'm trying here, right? which this is really interesting because we see more evidence of 2 new items that further support this idea. So if we look right here, Game Freak left in actual important item data for all the Crown Tundra items. Item 1590 and 1591 have the same effect code as DNA splicers for the Solarizer and the Lunarizer. Since there are only 2 of them, we can assume that they work similar to the DNA splicers for fused and unfused. And just in case you think maybe Calyrex confused with the Pokemon we've already had, for clarity, codenames for Zacian and Zamazenta or Ukamic and Ukamit. Eternatus is Ziuka, Kupfu is AMA1, Urshifu styles are AMA2 Mizu and AMA2 Aku. So it's unlikely that we're gonna have any known legendaries fusing with supposedly Calyrex. Which, what this means is, there's 2 new legendaries that we don't know about that have not been announced, codename Hakuba and Kokuba. This is different from other items that have been found in the game's code. Looks like Game Freak prematurely added both returning and brand new items to the internal item arrays with DLC 1. The current max item is 1589 for the Mark Charm, but we see it goes as high as 1606 with 17 new items added. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of mysterious things here with question marks. So what these are exactly, we don't know yet. We could assume that 2 of them are going to be the Lunarizer and the Otherizer. There's a lot of key items. Although we did get a lot of key items this time with the new bike, the Mark Charm, I guess not too many, but still. And there's only 3 other items. Of which, item 1592 is a usable item with the same functionality as evolutionary items. This item is probably what evolves Galarian Slowpoke into Galarian Slowking. We have seen the Galarcia Twigs become the Galarcia Cuff, and the Galarcia Cuff is an evolutionary item. So, we could have a system similar to that, or it could be something different to that to get ourselves Slowking. But wait, that's not all. If you were at all concerned about the following Pokemon, you know your Pokemon follow you in DLC 1, but if you go back to the regular wild area, they don't follow you and you never want to spend another minute there ever. There exists a flag for the Crown Tundra that allows for Pokemon to follow you in the overworld. It's seemingly functionally identical to the one for the Isle of Armor. No signs lead to any flag like this for the base game's areas outside of the DLC wild areas, unfortunately. So what this means is your Pokemon are going to be able to follow you in the overworld in DLC 2, which if they gave us that in DLC 1 and then took it away in DLC 2, oh, there would be riots. There would be riots. In addition, Game Freak didn't remove the location info for the Crown Tundra from the encounter tables. The normal grass tables are scrubbed, but entries 107 onwards in the overworld table appear to be beta/work-in-progress Tundra tables. So as we can see right here, there's literally a work in progress of what we can see for weather in this one specific environment. And if we go to that paste bin on GitHub, we can see all the different Isle of Armor locations, and here we have code names for all of the different Crown Tundra. Very interesting stuff here. There are 15 Crown Tundra locations and 16 Isle of Armor locations. That could mostly just mean that, you know, there's a lot of water for the Isle of Armor, and like the Honeycomb Sea and the Honeycomb Island are more of a gimmick area than anything else. But while we're talking about areas, the map, that's the map, but that is the scrollable map area for the DLC 2, which the area is enormous. But while we're talking about the map, here's all the fly locations for the Crown Tundra. Look at that. There's one up there, down a little bit, 3 over to the left, and 1 all the way down on the bottom right somewhere. And then more on the left, and then more down further. This place is huge. It's gonna be much larger than and then there's more down there. This place is enormous. They obviously aren't able to go there because the game just crashes. So while I was editing this video and still trying to fix my computer, have not been successful yet, I was looking over this exact scene right here where Matt was going over the map, and I noticed that in the bottom right, you have the option to toggle the weather. So I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, did you toggle the weather? What happens? And the weather does work in the DLC 2 map, as you can see right here. toggling the weather on and off, which is interesting because if you look to the right at that gray, it lets you know whenever there's a point of interest, in addition to the name of the location. So I was like, hey Matt, for the regular wild area, you change the date to the 1st, and it's a weather. For the DLC, you change it to the 15th, and it's a weather. What about here? And then he found, for the last day of the month, that it's actually a set weather pattern, which we've already been able to track down, and I've already made my chart for 5 months before release. So that is the weather for the Crown Tundra. That's how deep this data mining is going, that I'm already making charts for it. And on top of that, now that we know that there's several different names for areas, we're starting to come up with what we believe are going to be the locations. So as we can see here, the topmost one we believe may be Calyrex. And then down here we have the Dynamax Adventures, Unknown, the Regieleki Regidrago Chamber, and then the Bird Tree, which that's its actual name in the code, and then one of the things that we believe is the Regirock Shrine. So we're already being able to pinpoint different locations on the map based on what's left over in the game's code. All right, back to Austin. And this was found because the Crown Tundra Pokédex unlock flag is left in DLC 1. So if they go to Pokédex while unlocking the flag, boom, that is the Crown Tundra Pokédex, which right now only has 2 entries, which right now are just Slowpoke and Slowbro. Assumably Slowking is going to be in there as well. But like, that's what it's going to look like once all 3 Pokédexes are visual on your screen. You have the nice yellow and you have the nice green. It makes sense because that's sunny and that's colder, right? And just to give you an idea, this is the map as one big laid out piece, which we have the Isle of Armor as this little thing on the right. Down here, all of this is the Crown Tundra. We also have some weird stuff over here on the left. That could be a location. It could just be some additional images, like over here on the right where there's just some additional images, so when the camera scrolls over that area it shows some stuff. But this could be something on the left. Some people are thinking DLC 3. Me personally, I think it's unlikely, but hey, you never know. That's a huge map. Like, only once you're on this screen and you see the fly points do you really see the size of how enormous it is. And we can see how all the different locations are fairly well spaced out, in my opinion. Like, you definitely have some outliers over here. And then do keep in mind that this is based off of, I don't know, what's above Scotland? Iceland? The Faroe Islands? Greenland? We already know that the Isle of Armor is based off of the Isle of Man, right? And then, since it's basically the United Kingdom upside down, you have Scotland appearing at the bottom, which would mean that now we're looking at either northern Scotland, the Faroe Islands, they could pull from Iceland, Greenland, whatever the heck Svalbard is. That would make sense that you have these remote tiny places. Actually, looking at how huge it is, yeah, I'm gonna go with it's based off of Greenland. Greenland is ice, Iceland is green. Got it. But wait, that's not all. Crown Tundra models left over in DLC 1. We have someone named Vilchief, whoever this is. We have Peony, who we've already seen, and a lot of people are thinking that the P on his hat is a new Pokemon or a new Rotom form. And then we have Adventurer Female. I believe that's the game's code. Yes, Adventurer Female, who people are believing is Peony's daughter. Also, some people are thinking that Adventurer Male, Peony, is the brother of the chairman, since they both clearly are Indian and have the same hairlines and similar features. So maybe Adventurer Female is Peony's daughter, or maybe it's the chairman's daughter that Peony is taking after. There's also an old 2 male and old 2 female, probably just regular NPCs. You got this guy here and this lady here. Maybe they serve the same function as the Diggin' Ma and the Diggin' Pa. And it looks like there's gonna be 2 additional NPC allies added to max raid battles. We currently have Clara and Avery, and then we have Psy Acura, the Scion Acura, And then we have Peony. Apparently Peony's just gonna join us in max raid battles, which is pretty dope. And the last little bit of information is, with the Crown Tundra, there's additional 8 battle themes playable in multiplayer/battle tower. We don't know what they consist of yet, but it's a pretty likely guess that they'll include stuff like verse Peony, verse Regis, verse Birds, verse Calyrex, etc. Wow. It is really amazing how much stuff is just left over in the game's code. Like, looking back at all this, obviously these two were developed hand in hand, so they knew exactly what would be there from the start. That's how they can guarantee you're gonna have 100 Pokemon in DLC 1, 100 Pokemon in DLC 2. Well, I'm excited, and I'm excited for the presents tomorrow. We may learn even more about the Crown Tundra. We may get Let's Go Johto. We may get another brush your teeth game. You never know with Pokemon. Maybe they'll talk about Pokemon Sleep and the Go++. Maybe they'll talk about Pokemon Home Go support. You never know. Well, guys, if you learned something new or found it interesting, because everyone learned something new today, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, otherwise I'm going to delete your Minecraft overworld. I know you just reset the Nether, well, I'm going to reset your overworld if you don't subscribe. Till next time, Austin John out.